Hey everyone, Shastow here with a very special tutorial video. Today, I am showing you how to use Affinity Photo and Affinity Publisher to make traditional Let's Play thumbnails. You no longer do you need Photoshop's datasets and variables, but now there is a way to do it completely Adobe free and quickly and efficiently without having to manually do stuff. So let's get started. So let's go over what we're gonna do. So first, I've already made an overlay for Twilight Princess. This is from Krita, but we'll be using it for the purpose of this tutorial. Notice I have removed the number for the episode, because we'll be doing that in Affinity Publisher later. So first, let's make our images all perfectly 16 by 9. So you're gonna go to New Batch Job, then you're gonna click Add, and then you'll add your base thumbnails that you've already gotten. If you haven't gotten them, I'd use VLC Media Player or something and just look for things that look good to you and then get the best image you can. So what we're gonna do is first I'm gonna click Save Into just so our files don't get overwritten, just in case you do something wrong. Then you can't see this, but I'll make a new folder and let's title it Resize. And then click inside the folder. And then there. So well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to switch from save as AF photo. You don't have to uncheck this if you want to save them this way, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to be saving as PNG. So we're going to uncheck the automatic scaling, and then we're going to put 1920 by 1080. Or if you're doing it in 720p, you'll have to look that up. And then we click OK, and then it's created them. Let me just make sure. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to record our macro. So the first thing you want to do is go to Window and then Macro here. And then for now, I just have one of the resized episode bases pulled up. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the big red record button. Go to File, and then Place, and then I'll navigate to where my overlay is stored. Alright, and then we'll just click in the center. And now what we'll do is I'm going to hold Alt and Control and resize it. Now, this can be a bit finicky because there's so you may have to go in deep. So just like how I just did there. And then we're going to stop recording. And we're going to save to our library. And I'll just call this TP. This is Twilight Princess. Okay, now we can move on to the next step. Alright, next we apply the overlay to the images. So go to File, New Batch Job. If you want to save as AF photo, then do it, but for the purpose of this tutorial, we're saving as PNG. So I'll put 1920 by 1080. Then I'll add my resized images. And then we'll click the macro. Make sure you click Apply. And I'll save in, and then make sure you also click Save Into, and then I'll make a new folder that says Apply Overlay to Images. And then we'll select that folder just so it doesn't overwrite it. And then we can click OK. Okay, so your images should have the overlay applied, and that should look something like this, like with the overlay properly positioned. If it isn't, then check your resolutions on your images in the overlay. But this is but your images look something like this. Okay, so we've moved to Affinity Publisher. I've made a 1920 by 1080 document. And then let's create, since we have 4 images, we'll create 3 more pages. Okay, and then we'll go to Master A, and then we'll put a photo frame, which is this tool, Picture Frame Rectangle. And then you'll do this, and then it should apply to all pages. Make sure you create the pages before you do this. Okay, now we get into the part where we put our images down. So go to File, Place, and then I'll go to my tutorial page, and then we'll go to the ones where we applied the overlays. We'll click Open. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to move the place to a different layer, just so it's easier for us to do stuff. So first we're going to go to page 1, apply the episode 1, and then it'll automatically move on to the next one. So just keep scrolling down and clicking. So that's the first thing we want to do. Next, we're going to add the numbers. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the numbers of each episode. So on the master template, double click it. We're going to use the frame text tool, and we'll just drag like this. Let me just move it up a bit. And then what I'll do is I'll go back to the frame text tool and I'll put a 1. You can't see that because it's white, but we'll fix that by going to Effects, click Outline, and then up the thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an outer glow, and let's make it, I don't know, let's say purple. Then I'll drag up the radius and drag up the intensity. This is a bit finicky, I won't lie, compared to what I'm used to in Krita, but I think that looks pretty good. I also personally like to add a 3D effect, so we're just going to quickly do that. Then let's drag it down to say about here. Also, make sure that if you have multiple episodes, like over 9 episodes, that you don't have it like this, but like this. Trust me, it'll save you a lot of pain. Also, make sure that if you're doing a triple digit, then you're gonna want to drag it out to here. Like if you have, let's say, 100 episodes. Okay, now we're gonna make sure it gets on all pages, and it's the actual page number. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on text, then we click in where it says insert, then fields, then page number, and then we can remove the 1. But now, there is an issue I'm having with where this color's not right. But this is what it looks like now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna adjust the color, and it may appear a bit weird sometimes. I won't lie. So now we're gonna go to page, and now you can see that's been applied to everything. If it hasn't been applied to everything, select the pages, and then click apply master. And with that, we're done. Now all we need to do is export as PNG, which we'll show next. All right, next we're gonna export our pages. So what you want to do is make sure it's set to PNG, because it's the only file that actually supports transparency and is supported by YouTube. And then we'll make sure our area is on all pages, and then just click export. And then it's going to ask where I'm going to want to save it. So I'm going to make a new folder in the tutorial place. We're going to click finish. We're going to call it finished, and then we're going to save to that. And then let me just make sure that's saved. All right. I made the mistake of putting untitled, but this is what it should look like. And it should be like _1, _2, or you know. Also, one last word of advice. YouTube doesn't take files under 2 megabytes. So I'm going to show you how to resize them to, say, 720p, where they'll be much smaller. So, alright, here's what we'll do now. Now what we'll do is move back to Affinity Photo, click the Add button, and then add your finished images. The ones with the numbers. Okay. So now what we do is we're going to click Save Into, just so it doesn't override. I'll make a new folder, and we're going to title it 720p. And then I'll select that folder. So the first thing we'll do is we'll click Save as PNG. And then you want to put 1280 by 720. And then click OK. Remember, only do that step if you're over 2 megabytes on at least one of the images. So I know it's not an ideal method since we have to use Affinity Publisher, but in the description, I will link where the software is gone from. I am not sponsored by them, keep in mind, but I just really enjoy their software. Sometimes they'll lose sales, and the universal license is normally $200 US, but sometimes they'll drop to about $100 or less. So I highly recommend you to get those, because Adobe, after all, is monthly, and they're such a scummy company. So I highly recommend you check out Affinity. But I'm honestly surprised no one has covered this recently. All right, I'll see you in the next video, and we'll probably be doing more Let's Plays because I figured this out. So maybe Majora's Mask. But thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you.